Hello everyone. So today we'll do a small revision on inverse proportion, right? Now let's say for example, you can take the notes in your copybook. For example, I have 20 sweets, right? And je vais partager ces 20 bonbons avec plusieurs enfants. Donc par exemple, here I have a number of children. Et ici, j'aurai the number of sweets, d'accord, per child plutôt, right? Let's say, donc au total, au début, j'ai 20 sweets. Let's say the number of children, I have only one child. Donc if I have only one child, the number of sweets per child will be 20. Donc, il y aura tous les 20 bonbons. Si maintenant, disons, au lieu de 1, j'ai 2, I have 2 children. Donc, chacun aura 10 sweets, right? Maintenant, si j'ai 4 children, chacun, ils vont avoir combien de sweets? Chacun auront 5. Pourquoi 5? Donc, j'aurai 5, plus 5, plus 5, plus 5. Donc, j'ai combien d'enfants? 1, 2, 3, 4. Donc, chacun auront 5 sweets. Let's say I have 5 children. Chacun auront 4 sweets. Parce que, donc, 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. Donc, quand je comptabilise le tout, et donc j'ai 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 4 encore. Donc, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Donc, 5 enfants, chacun auront 4 sweets. 4 plus 4. 8 plus, donc 4, 12. Plus 4, 16. Plus 4, ça te fait 20. Si je continue, I have now, let's say I have 20 children. Ben, s'il y a 20 children, ben, chacun aura only one sweet, right? And what can we observe here is that as the number of children increases, c'est-à-dire je sors de 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 5 and 5 to 20, quand j'augmente le nombre d'enfants, je remarque que the number of sweets, it decreases, c'est-à-dire as the number of children increases, the number of sweets per child, it decreases. C'est-à-dire, donc je sors de 20 to 10, from 10 to 5, from 5 to 4, and from 4 to 1. Donc, quand j'ai ce genre de relationship, that is, as one quantity, here I have two quantities. Quelles sont ces deux quantités-là? Le premier, c'est number of children, et le deuxième, c'est number of sweets per child. Donc, when I'm comparing these two, c'est-à-dire as one increases et quand l'autre decrease, this is what I call, this is an inverse proportion. That is, it is an inverse relationship. D'accord? Donc, quand n augmentait et l'autre diminuait, cela veut dire it is an inverse relationship, an inverse proportion. This is what is meant by the word inverse, or I can also use indirect proportion. It is not direct. Direct veut dire quoi? C'est que quand n quantité, c'est-à-dire si le nombre d'enfants augmentait et que le number of sweets augmentait, là c'est un direct proportion. Mais here, no. Pourquoi? Parce que as the number of children increases, the number of sweets decreases automatically. Now, let's see how can we relate these two quantities. Comment on peut voir the relationship? Let's say that the number of children is equal to, let's say this is x, and the number of sweets per child is y, right? Donc, quels sont the relationship between these two quantities? I can say that when I take x and I multiply by y, I obtain a number, a number. Let's see. X, when I take x and I multiply by y, it gives me a constant. This is the relationship between these two quantities which are indirectly related. Qu'est-ce que je veux dire par là? Let me take let me take 1. Donc 1 times 20, it is equal to 20, right? And if I take 2 times 10, it is equal to 20. If I take 4 times 5, it is equal to 20. If I take 5 times 4, it is equal to 20. Again, if I take 20 times 1, it is again equal to 20. Donc, ce que je peux dire là, c'est que the relationship means that if I take this quantity, c'est-à-dire x, I multiply by this one, which is y. When I take x times y, it gives me the same number, ça représente le rate, right? The rate remains constant. Now, how can we apply it? So, how can we apply this relationship? Let's take an example, right? So I know that if I take 1 times 20, it gives me 20. If I take 2 children times 10 sweets per child, it gives me again 20. And this 20 represent my k, right? Which is where k is equal to the constant rate. C'est-à-dire, peu importe quelle situation, this k, it remains constant. And here, my k is equal to 20. Now, let's have an example. Let's say, here you have Sonia is traveling at a speed of 60 kilometers per hour. Okay, and she takes 2 hours to reach her destination. How much time will she take to reach her destination if she travels at 80 kilometers per hour? Now, here we need to first identify the two quantities. We are talking about speed, okay? Donc, here I have speed. And the second quantity I'm talking about is about time, 2 hours. So I have time here. Donc, she's traveling at 60 km per hour. 60, okay, and she will reach her destination in 2 hours. Maintenant, il me dit que if she travels at 80 km per hour, but what will be the time that she will reach her destination? And here, I don't know, I will put it x here. What will be the time? C'est ce qu'il faut chercher. Donc, automatiquement, let's understand what type of relationship you have between these two, between speed and time. Donc, est-ce que c'est is it a direct proportion or an indirect proportion? S'il roule plus vite, donc disons là, il peut rouler 60 km par heure, il peut arriver il peut prendre des heures de temps pour faire ce voyage. Mais s'il roule plus vite, c'est-à-dire il augmente sa vitesse. C'est-à-dire s'il augmente sa vitesse, automatiquement, il peut arriver à sa destination beaucoup plus rapidement. Ça veut dire x will be less than 2 hours, right? Therefore, it is an indirect proportion. And you know that the relationship for indirect proportion, you know that x times y is equal to k. And I know that that speed is equal to x and y, and time is equal to y, right? Let's take x times y. Let's calculate what is the constant rate. What is the rate? I know that donc x will be 60 times y qui est égal à 2. It will be equal to 120, right? Therefore, my k is equal to 120. And I know that k for the second part, that is for 80, it will be the same k. Celui-là aussi va avoir the same rate. Therefore, I know that if I take 80, I multiply by x, cela va me donner 120. And therefore, x will be equal to 120. I divide by 80. Cela me fera, donc, je n'ai qu'à simplifier. Donc, je peux diviser par 2. Ça te fera 8 divisé par 2, 4. 12 divisé par 2, 6. Cela me fera 6 upon 4 qui me fera, I have 1 remaining 2 over 4, and I can simplify further. 2 divided by 2, donc 1, 4 divided by 2, 2, 1 upon 2. And this will, therefore x will be equal to 1.5 hour, qui est égal à 1.5 hour. Et bien sûr, qui est, which is less than 2 hours. Therefore, x is equal to 1.5 hours. It is indirectly related. That is, si le roule plus vite, automatiquement, il prend moins le temps pour voyager. Let's have a look at another example now, which is here. Here, if you have 10 workers can build a house in 8 days. How many workers are needed to build the same house in only 2 days? Again, you remove out the quantity that you will use. Therefore, here I have workers. Et ici, vous aurez days. Let's say this is x and this is y. And you know that x times y, it is equal to k. And it is given that if you have 10 workers, it can build a house in how many days? 8 days. Therefore, si j'ai 10 workers, combien de days they can build the house? It will be 8 days. Et maintenant, il me demande, how many workers are needed to build the same house in only 2 days? Donc, if I have only 2 days, how many workers will be needed? I put it as x. Or I can put it pour ne pas faire de confusion, je peux mettre a, right? Let a. Therefore, I can take, I know that x times, but let me put x this way. You write x this way. X times y is equal to k. And I know that if I take 10 times 8, 10 times 8, it will be equal to 80, right? And 80 is my constant rate at which one worker will be, at which, comment dire? One worker will require 80 days. Now, and I do the same for the other part. I know that if I take, I know that x times y is equal to k. Therefore, if I take x is equal to a. Donc, a times 2, it will be equal to the same k. 80. A is equal to 80 divided by 2, which will be equal to 40. Therefore, 40 workers will be needed to build the house in only 2 days. C'est tout. Merci. Au revoir.